3, 2. Sorry.
Well, that's the cold open.
That was
the first time that's ever happened.
I literally just completely forgot how to speak English right at the beginning. Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust, the draft show. Max Chadwick alongside Tate, Sigworth, and Nick Merriam. Biggest takeaways from college football week 4, NFL week 3, right before Monday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Eagles. So rookie takeaways, college football takeaways, and of course, what you're here for, Boom or Bust, the draft show, draft takeaways. So before we start the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Boom or Bust Draft. We're on YouTube. Anywhere you get your podcast, check out the merch store below. And please continue supporting us because support for us is brought to you by that right there, Manscaped. Do you like playing with balls? No, I'm not talking about footballs. I mean your balls. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, want you to shave your pubes with the Tom Brady of ball trimmers, the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. When you're going towards the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose Manscaped. 2 million and 3 men worldwide trust them. So join the movement with our exclusive offer by using the code BOOM or BUST. That is BOOM or BUST, all caps, no spaces, at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. Again, 20% off and free shipping. Use the code BOOM or BUST at manscaped.com. Take your ball defense to the promised land with Manscaped. So let's start this video how we haven't really talked about at all, really, and that is the 2022 quarterback class. So Tate, what are your thoughts after this week? Is there a clear leader in the clubhouse for 2022?
It's almost as if we talked about it last week, and the answer actually is still no. We have no real idea about who is the front runner of this quarterback class. Spencer Rattler got booed off the field basically by his own fans at a home game, which is something you just never want to see. Yeah. Sam Howell had another good game. Matt Corral didn't play, so not much to report there. Nick and I were boots on the ground for Malik Willis versus Syracuse.
That's right.
That's a fun fact.
He played well. I liked it.
It's just tough because it's 200 yards a game automatically. He never has a huge passing game, and he throws the ball a decent amount, and he makes NFL throws. You got to look at the quality, not the quantity, from Malik Willis. There were supposedly 30 NFL scouts there, or 30 teams scouts there watching the game. So big day for Garrett Williams and that whole defense, who played very, very well. Syracuse defense, and I know we're a Syracuse podcast here. That defense is legit, but I digress. Malik Willis had a couple really nice throws, a couple really nice runs, but the defense gave him a lot of issues, which is a little eye-opening, and one of his 2 Power 5 opponents on the schedule this year.
And I think Syracuse, we have a bad track record of this, saying things now based on last week with the Bills, but I don't know that they're as bad as we think they are, just based on Rutgers going out and giving Michigan a game this week. I think they're pretty all right at almost every level. They're just so putrid at quarterback that they're not going to be contending. It could be a bowl team this year. It's possible.
Really good. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so Tate and Nick both at Syracuse in that Friday night game where Syracuse took down Liberty, and I think they went to Castle, which is where we go to party after a huge game.
I know. We had a rugby game the next day. 24-hour rule, no alcohol.
Pretty brutal. So look, Malik Willis, I thought Malik Willis actually looked really good. He, like you guys said, made a few NFL throws, looked good on the ground like he always does. The guy I want to talk about, because I watched every single pass, every single play he's had actually so far this season. I want to get down to the nitty gritty and what's going on with Spencer Rattler. And what I came away with is that I think he's overcompensating. I think he came into the year saying, okay, I want to be the number 1 pick. They're saying I play too out of structure too much. Let me not try to do that, because he is getting the ball quicker than he's ever gotten it before. He's playing an average time to throw now, which he wasn't that last year. Last year, it was one of the longest in the country. And last year, he was throwing the ball deep a ton. This year, he is not even looking deep. He is throwing way, way less on deep routes. So Spencer Rattler, I kind of want to, we came into the year with our weaknesses and be like, oh, yeah, if he could play within the structure more, play within the pocket more. screw that, man. Get out the window. Play your brand of football. They'll get over it. The NFL will get over it. But I think Spencer Rattler's overcompensating. I just think, man, you do what you've been doing last year, because last year you were great. I would have taken you number one last year, even with all the weaknesses. Now I think you swung it too far the other end where you're not playing like yourself. And I think that's what we've been seeing from Spencer Rattler. So, yeah, I hope he comes out against Kansas State and looks better, but we'll see.
You think he's like feeling the pressure at all? Like he's starting to lose the QB1 title and maybe he's like trying to do all the right things, you know, and playing inside structure. You think that's happening?
I do. I think that is a lot to do with it. And man, that Caleb Williams thing was not good. I don't think the pick was that bad, but the fans chanting for the backup quarterback to come in for your Heisman candidate starter, like that's never a good sign. I don't know if you guys watched a post-game interview, but he was like, I don't really care. They're not on the field, but you care, man. If the whole field is chanting for you to get benched, you care. But yeah, we'll see, man. I'm getting more nervous by the day with Spencer Rattler, and I might move up someone to QB1 soon, but we'll see.
It's a good shot by me last week. I said West Virginia defense, interesting matchup, you know.
No, they're good. They have a really good defense. They actually have the best defense in the Big 12 right now. And Kansas State, a worse team, I think, overall. So hopefully he can have that breakout game. But man, we'll see with him. Speaking of quarterbacks, let's talk about these rookie quarterbacks because none of them have looked great so far. Nick, what have been your overall takeaways of this 2021 quarterback class?
Mac Jones is fine. He's just not a player that really elevates that offense on his own. Trevor Lawrence is in a terrible situation. Zach Wilson is in I don't even know how to describe what's going on with the Jets because I like their system. I like some of the players they've had that had some injuries. They just, I don't know, Zach Wilson's not playing too well. Trey Lance hasn't played yet. The Fields one is the one that disappoints me the most because I was telling you guys earlier this morning, and maybe you guys knew this already, that he had 3 designed runs this past week against the Browns. It's just ridiculous for a guy who's probably already like legitimately a top 5 rushing QB in the NFL. And they just didn't take advantage of it at all. And they fed him to the dogs. He got hit. I don't know what the exact numbers were, but I know I was looking around the fourth quarter and he was sacked at least 7 times. It was hit at least 13 times. It probably was more than that by the end of the game. But, you know, those numbers on their own without the extra quarter are ridiculous, you know. So no help from the coaching staff there. There were some things this morning about Matt Nagy having a 10 a.m. press conference, and he never showed up, or it was at least an hour and a half late too. So some people were wondering if things are going on okay over there in Chicago, but not great start for any of these guys, really. Even Mac Jones, I think, this week kind of disappointing, even if some of those interceptions weren't his fault. He just didn't really give them a chance to win a game that was, quite frankly, pretty winnable against Jameis Winston.
As a Browns fan, I was happy that we won the football game, but as an Ohio State fan, I was sad that we bullied Justin Fields as bad as we did. It was 9 sacks, I believe, was the final number. Myles Garrett alone had 4.5, which is ridiculous. A lot of it, like, yes, that's a franchise record for sacks in a game. A lot of it, like, the offensive line played horrendously. Jason Peters, like, some of those reps against Myles Garrett was like, how are you in the league right now, my man? It was that bad. But also, Justin Fields does like to hold the ball and takes a lot of sacks. That was one of the criticisms we had coming out last year. So, I don't know. Matt Nagy said all 3 quarterbacks are in contention to start this coming week. So, not the vote of confidence that you want to see in your rookie quarterback. Trey Lance and the sample size that we've seen, which is like 4 plays, has been fine, 2 touchdowns. Zach Wilson, I don't know. You know, is the Jets a bad situation? I'm not panicking on like the whole Jets staff at the moment, but some of those like screen grabs and breakdowns I see online are just like, what is the concept here? What is the breakdown? The one that was like viral 2 weeks ago was hilarious, but also like, what is the offensive line doing? There was more from this past week's game. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm worried about the Bears situation because if that offensive line is going to be that bad all year long, there's just no world where Justin Fields is going to be even remotely successful, and that could hamper him the whole way. And then the Jaguars, like, dumpster fire, awful, just
you don't
horrendous.
Like the C.J. Henderson trade too much? We didn't
I had a friend text me who I thought was trolling, but he was like, Trevor Lawrence is bad. And I'm like, well, he's not, but the team is horrendous. And that's going to be the hill I die on for a long time.
Yeah. And I should say, like I said, Zach Wilson's playing poorly. I take that back. I delved a lot into that Patriots tape last week. And, you know, some of those interceptions were pretty bad. A couple of them were not on him at all. And I think it's just been tough for him trying to fit into this new system, trying to figure things out. And he made some really, really nice throws in that game against the Patriots.
Yes.
Against what is a really hard system to play against. Bill Belichick's done really good against young quarterbacks throughout his career, and that has continued this season. So I think that they'll get that figured out. I think they need to get a little healthier. I think Morgan Moses is trying to figure out what's going on with that Jets O-line. He hasn't been getting snaps because he didn't have enough time in training camp to figure it out. And then Trevor Lawrence thing, it's just it's a crapshoot. They are just not good. That O-line is horrendous, which is why I will be mocking them Evan Neal over and over again. Speaking of O-line play, how about the team that stopped the Steelers from continuing their sack streak? I know Alex Highsmith and T.J. Watt were out, which is the real reason why that happened. But the reason I bring it up is because I sent that tweet this week about Jamar Chase. I think it's proven. I mean, both Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase have played very well, but I think we're proving right now that the Jamar Chase pick is it's working out for the Bengals.
That's the correct pick. And Jackson Carman didn't look too bad either, which is another thing. So, yeah, going back to that quarterbacks thing real quick, I think the thing with Fields is that his timing was off, but it wasn't like the Ohio State timing was off where he's like, I'm just better than everyone else. I'm going to make a play. It was more like, I don't know.
He didn't have a chance.
No, he was like, he seemed like scared because the Browns were hitting him early and often in that game. And he was playing a little scared. I don't want to say he was playing scared, but like he was getting hit. So I felt bad for him. I think the second half he played a lot better. But I don't hate the Bears starting Foles until Matt Nagy gets fired or they fix something there because it is a train wreck. And I see why they're hesitant to start Fields because maybe it was less to do with Fields, more to do with Matt Nagy being like, oh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. That's a train wreck. Zach Wilson, I think, is playing too much hero ball right now, and that's got to be changed. But I do think there's so much talent you see there. And then Trevor Lawrence, you see the talent, but also the system is so bad. He also his timing, which was his biggest strength, I thought, coming out of Clemson, that seems off too. He's inaccurate so far. I'm not worried about him, but I'm worried about that situation for sure. And then Mac Jones is a good quarterback, is a decent quarterback right now, which I think he'll become a good quarterback, but nothing more than that. But we'll see with these other guys.
Patriots offense isn't good enough for him to be able to just, win games for them right now.
To be Kirk Cousins, which I think is what you were drafting him to become. So let's talk about this Week 5 slate, guys, coming up in college football. It is going to be an electric slate of college football, including Friday night, Iowa at Maryland, who Talia Tagovailoa, I tweeted out, I think he's starting to emerge a little bit. I don't know if I love his tools that much, but he looks like the best quarterback in the country right now. And he's going up against a really good Iowa defense. Like that could be a game to watch. You got Arkansas against Georgia, which I think Treylon Burks against Tyke Smith, who's finally playing, I think, this week, which would be huge. Michigan, Wisconsin's a great game. Cincinnati, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Alabama. Ole Miss, Alabama. That's the big one. Guys, what are you looking forward to the most in college football this week?
Score a lot.
Matt Corral, please play well. That's 3:30 CBS. Please, everybody, on your couches, bowl of popcorn, and let's pray. Let's keep positive energy. Max, for some reason, said some really negative things, like not like bad, but just was like, "Oh, the Matt Corral interception game is coming." Shut up, Max. That's not what we need right now. Get that out of here. Put that in the bin. I don't want to see that.
I'm not going all in.
This guy has one data point, and he's just hanging his hand on it.
We need a 5 touchdown game. We don't need a 5 interception game. Get out of here, Max.
He looked good against Alabama last year. I will give him that. He did look very good. It was just like the random games.
Well, we need it again. We need it again, Max. Okay.
Look, if let's not if they beat Alabama, he's QB1.
Not even a question.
So, I mean, and he's put himself in this situation.
If they beat Alabama, he could throw 6 interceptions next week, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't care either. But,
I mean,
of the QBs we've talked about, he's put himself in this situation. Nobody else has had a game yet where it's been like, all right, if he plays well this week, like, that's the prove-it game. Like, he's there. Like, we know that he's the guy. If Matt Corral pops off against Alabama, he's a guy, right? Like, He's gonna be a first round pick.
Yes.
That is to lock it in if he pops in and he pops off.
Look, I have no doubts about that. I think what because PJ's still in our group chat too, we were saying like, just he looks amazing. Like, just don't. Sometimes it's fool's gold with Matt Corral. You don't want to fall for that. I think he's been incredible so far.
Shut up, Max.
I just want to hold out. I'm hanging on to Spencer Rattler. I'm holding out on Matt Corral just as long as I possibly can. We'll see after Kansas State this week though. But yeah, I think those are gonna be some fun ones.
Another game to highlight.
What's up?
Daniel Falele, Minnesota versus George Karlaftis, Purdue at noon. That's a game to watch. I know Big Ten Network, but gotta get a stream of that one. But that's a game to watch.
That's a really big one to watch. Like I mentioned earlier, Arkansas, Georgia at noon. That's huge. I think Treylon Burks, who we can talk about a little if we want, but he had an amazing game this past weekend against Texas, and he might be emerging in that wide receiver class. It's kind of messy right now. Ohio State's receiver, not CJ Stroud, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave with CJ Stroud don't look too great as they did with Justin Fields. Maybe it's a quarterback situation there in Ohio State, but yeah, you're looking at Treylon Burks now is maybe emerging and maybe can jump maybe one of those two Ohio State receivers. We'll see, but that Georgia game's a big one for him.
If he jumps one of them, it's going to be a schematic thing.
Yes.
Because
I think so.
he's, like we've said, he's just a different. He's just different. It's really hard to explain what type of player he is. He's a running back playing wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Treylon Burks is 6'3", 225, and he runs like really, really well. So if you like the big, surprisingly mobile wide receiver, it's going to be that. Chris Olave also has 2 catches in the last 2 weeks for 12 yards. So I sadly did not watch the blowout game that the Buckeyes had this past week because I was busy doing something else. But I don't know what's up with that. He has 2 catches in the last 2 weeks. Maybe
he'll quit in the middle of the game next week because I make more catches. We'll see.
That seems unlikely.
That was disastrous. I guess we want to talk about this is the college football thing, and a guy who's 2023, so I don't know if we want to talk too much. But DJ Uiagalelei might be bad. Like he's had a rough start to the year, man. His accuracy is alarming so far this year.
Clemson might be bad.
Clemson, I think Clemson is bad. They're number 25 right now. Number 25 Clemson. Like that's something I thought I would never say.
So people were like Clemson as a program is like with Alabama right now. They're at odds. They're already going after each other, and each won like a couple titles back and forth. Was Clemson really like close to Alabama, or did they just have Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence right in a row?
That might have been it. That might have been it. They made it a playoff with Kelly Bryant that one year, but like that, it's just like the team
destroyed.
Yeah, they still made the playoff though. They're not going to make the playoff this year. But yeah, listen, man, it's alarming, and it's way too early to make any sort of 2023 takes. But DJ Uiagalelei, who a lot of people thought was going to be maybe the top pick because of how big and how strong his arm is, yeah, it's rough. It's been looking really bad so far. But listen, stacked slate in college football this upcoming weekend. Not really a great weekend this past weekend, but we have some games to watch, especially from a draft perspective this upcoming weekend. So make sure you guys tune in. We'll put out a graphic with all the matchups to watch. Literally just watch Matt Corral against Alabama because this can tell us a lot. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment what your big takeaways are, what video you want us to do next. Follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at @BoomerBustDraft. Leave a review in our podcast. Check out the website below. Hit our merch store, of course. Go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code BOOMORBUST for 20% off and free shipping. So for Tate Sigworth and Nick Merriam, I'm Max Chadwick. Have a great night.